Hi friends, I have a question for you. How easy is it for you to spot something that's fake? Like artificial intelligence, like an AI video or an AI image, or even words that have been written with ChatGPT. Is it easy for you? I mean, lately we're getting bombarded with a whole new realm of artificially created content. And while some people are having a very hard time discerning what is real and what is not, other people are able to spot it rather quickly. Now, granted, AI is going to continue getting better, and it's likely going to become a lot harder to spot the difference between artificial and, authentic content. So the other day, someone I knew posted this viral AI video. And as I do sometimes, I'll just put a little comment like, hey, this isn't real, it's AI. And then somebody actually asked me, well, how do you know it's not real? How do you know it's AI? And for me, I'm like, well, it's kind of easy to tell if you look closely enough. But then I started thinking, like, well, is it just because my brain is particularly detail oriented? Is it because I know what I'm looking for? Is it because I can just feel that something's off? Or my brain somehow picks up that what I'm seeing on the screen doesn't actually follow the laws of physics or lighting or the way that the natural world works? Is it because of how observant I am to things that are trying to be replicated, that I can just immediately tell it's fake? Like things wouldn't happen that way. Or if I see something that I want to be true, I'm less likely going to be sitting there trying to find its flaws. So I really started going deep on this question, and I noticed, like, oh my God, this is very similar to how one can decipher an artificial personality construct, which is exactly what you are dealing with when you are first engaging with a narcissistic person. And it struck me as funny because artificial intelligence and then an artificially created persona have a very similar thing going on, and the way that we respond to them, and also the way that we can notice them or even discern them, are very similar. So in this video, I want to share with you the common ways that you can tell if something or someone is artificially constructed. So the first one is that there's glitches. So in AI videos, for instance, there's always these little glitches, like something's off, it doesn't completely add up. Like when you look at it, it's all shiny and done really well, and maybe the story is so sweet, like people are saving these marine animals, but like when the polar bear is hanging off the boat, like he would have to be levitating to do that. Or when people are touching his fur, the fur is not going between the fingers. There's this weird glitchy part where he's being touched, and you can clearly see that. Now the whole of the video looks very nice and like this is happening, but there are these little subtle glitches that are off, and they keep happening. This is very similar to when you are relating to someone with an artificial personality construct. I think like the whole persona looks beautiful and great, sometimes grandiose, sometimes really humble and beautiful, and there's this charisma. But the closer you get to them, that mask will start slipping. There's glitches there. Now, nobody's perfect. Everybody glitches out. But when you are dealing with an artificial personality, the difference is so drastic, right? Like you have someone that proclaims to be this and do this, and this person does a full 180 and then flips back. And if you speak to them about that, like there's no accountability whatsoever. And with an authentic person, I think that we all have values that we can't quite live up to. We all slip and fail, we all fuck up, we all hurt people at times. But when these things are addressed, that person is able to be like, yeah, you know what, like I did that, I'm not proud of it, I'm very sorry, how do I make it better? There's a connection point, there's a continuum there where that person's misstep is still in alignment with who they are, because they're very human, they're still trying, they're humble about it, they are like genuinely working on themselves. So in artificial constructs, it's more of the glitch is like whoop, whoop. It's like a break in continuity, like you've got these two different extremes. The second way we can tell that something is artificial is that it just feels off. Always feel it, and you know you do. But usually it's what you want to see so bad that you kind of deny those feelings of it feeling a little bit off, right? It's like there's this fantasy that's there. When you're in the midst of a narcissistic person's love bombing cycle, like that mask is full force right at you. If you don't know what you're looking for, it can feel very real. And granted, before we have these kinds of experiences, most of us just trust people so much more than we do afterwards. Like a lot of us were like, why would someone come forward with such a fake persona that they don't intend on being? Like, it makes no sense. Why would someone craft an entire personality or an entire lie and like feed that to me every day and end up being something else? Like, it just literally makes no sense until we unfortunately go through something like that and experience a person like that. And then later on down the line, it's like, oh, it's much easier to spot because that is actually in your worldview now. Like, you understand that people do that. This is the same thing with AI. You know, a lot of people start seeing these videos or images and they're like, holy wow, this is like so incredible and so beautiful. But maybe they don't know yet that, hey, there's a whole new wave of content that's coming out that is, you know, artificially created, that's created by a computer and not a person. It's not actually real life, but there's a vibe there. And the more you are exposed to it, the more you become familiar with this vibe. So it's more of a sense of familiarity. Like whenever I see you know, read something that ChatGPT wrote, or kid like see an AI video or an AI piece of art, like I can feel it. There's like a cellophane, there's a vibe, and it might be kind of hard to describe, but I can sense it in my body right away. The same thing with more narcissistic or toxic individuals, where in the past I wasn't really able to discern that much. Like I could feel something, but I always questioned it. You know, it's like something feels a little bit weird about this, but I'm being too judgmental. I should really open my mind more and not be so quick to judge this person. And that is actually a great way to live life. We're all human, and at times we all put false projections onto other people, and it is very important to make sure that we account for that in any given situation. However, there are moments when you really feel something is off, and it's okay to engage very slowly over time. If you feel something's off, you know, it's like question it, like, oh, there's a pin there. I'm gonna go really slow with this one and see over time if this situation proves my projections to be wrong, or proves that this person definitely has something off about the way that they interact with the world and with other people. When we haven't been exposed to these artificial constructs, we're kind of like, you know, a person who just shares an AI video without realizing that it's even artificial, because we haven't quite gotten it into our awareness that there is a lot of artificial stuff out there. And it's the same way as interacting with people who have generated these artificial personality constructs, because they're hiding a lot of shame, or they're hiding a darker persona. So in order to relate, or in order to hook other people in, to get supply, like they create this whole false construct, and that's how they relate to the world. And When we come from a more, shall I say, innocent place where we haven't experienced the trials and struggles of, narcissistic relationships, it's harder to discern those. It's harder to accept that even exists, because we don't work that way. It makes no sense to us. And we might feel something's off, but we don't know quite what it is until we, go through the ringer with it. But then afterwards, once we're familiar with the signs, like, it all kind of feels the same. And it's the same with narcissistic people and these constructs that they create. There's this common thread, like it all kind of feels the same, like the inauthenticity is very similar. So you're able to pick up on it a lot quicker, and maybe not even knowing why. It just sends your alarm bells off, like it, like the hair on your back raises. You can just sense that, like, whoa, yeah, this is what I am seeing and experiencing isn't quite real, and it's actually covering up something else, what is underneath there. So it's a little bit unfortunate that one has to familiarize oneself with artificial constructs in order to be able to recognize them, because familiarizing yourself with a narcissistic personality is extremely painful and detrimental. However, doing so, one will be much more clear and able to decipher when that comes back into your life. Another piece about this is that when we have this fantasy, it's harder for us to discern or even take into consideration our own intuitive impulses about these things. So if someone is bringing forward a false construct, and usually what these people do is that they find out what you're looking for, what your needs are, what your fears are, what your desires are, and they create a construct that you are just going to fall for. But they come forward in this way to make themselves out to be everything that you've been praying for, everything that you've been wanting. That way, when the abuses start, like, you have something to cling to, like you cling to this hope. So when the glitches do start happening and the mask starts to drop, you don't actually want to see that. You want to keep seeing the fantasy. You want to hang on to that hope. You don't want to see this new and truer side of this person, because it will shatter your hopes and dreams that, oh my God, this person is the one. Or you would have to face the music that this person just totally duped you or betrayed you and lied to you, and that you fell for something. And that's a really hard thing to come to terms with. It's very scary. It's very painful. It makes trusting people and the world around you so much more difficult. And it's kind of the same with, artificial content, where it's like, oh, I want to see more good things happening in the world. I would like to live in a world where these things can happen, where like my wildest fantasies can come true and I can actually witness it, which AI is allowing us to do. But at what cost, right? Like, where do we say, like, oh, that's a really beautiful fantasy, but that's not real. Our fantasies and our hopes related to our fantasies can have us losing our grip on reality if we're not careful. So it's really important to be honest with ourselves about what our fantasies are and what we think that these people in our lives are bringing to those fantasies. And also ask ourselves, is there any place where I'm abandoning myself, or I am going against my own judgment, or I'm denying an inner voice because I really want to hang on to this fantasy. If we are looking through life from a fantasy lens, we're going to be more affected by cognitive bias and dissonance. We're not going to want to see the glitches. We're not going to want to see the inconsistencies. And the longer we stay in that pattern, the harder it's going to be to extract ourselves from that situation down the road. And as we know, down the road, things don't get better, they get a lot harder. We're like more intertwined, more enmeshed, and usually more, psychologically damaged as these relationships move forward. I know it's not cool to be jaded, but being jaded does allow a person to be able to see those inconsistencies right away and say, you know what, nope, thanks, I see that. That's a really pretty picture you've drawn there, but I know it's not real, and thank you very much. No thank you, I'm not gonna get involved in that. At the most primal level, for me, it feels like artificially created content and artificially created personas, there is a disconnect. It's like authenticity, when you watch something that was authentically filmed, or you see an actual photo, or you watch or listen to someone play music, like with their own hands and an instrument and their own voice. When you look at art and content made by humans and nature, you can feel it. It's resonant. It's how life works. It is how spirit moves through us. It is connected to all life itself. But when we're experiencing something artificial, there is a disconnect from that. It feels a little bit jarring, or like it's, just deviated a little bit. And it lacks spirit. It lacks the realness. It lacks actual, true life running through it. It's plastic at that point. And perhaps that might be the best word to describe anything artificial, is just kind of plastic. I'm really curious to hear from you if you have noticed any similarities in your consciousness and how you navigate artificially created content and, false personas, or not. Feel free to drop a comment and let me know. And thank you for watching and being with me in this video. I'll see you in the next one.